I'm Jonny Smith.
I'm Richard Porter.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things. Okay.
Here
we are.
Guys.
Now, we're in person.
Yes.
Richard's looking at me. I'm looking at Richard.
In a room.
Yes, with
Very
small windows, smaller than the indicators on the back of a Tesla Model 3.
Yes, or the brake lights on a Discovery 5.
Yes. Squinty little...
Hey, that reminds me. So we're here, just to set the scene, in case you care, we're actually in the Morgan Experience Centre. It's the morning after we did our Morgan live show that you'll have heard last week. And since we're still here, we didn't sleep here, but we come back to get our cars and stuff.
We did.
But we got a lift. We stayed in an Airbnb last night.
Fact.
Which was less strange than I was worried it might be. I found it troublingly cheap when we booked it. And I was like, is this going to be okay? And it was.
No, it was fine. Yeah.
Bless him, one of the lovely chaps from Morgan offered to give us a lift there because there were three of us, so we couldn't drive down in my Honda. But it was street parking, and we were a bit worried that we wouldn't be able to park the Quest.
Yes.
And we were going to get a cab, and then bless him, one of the guys from Morgan went, no, I'll take you in my car. His car, Discovery 4.
Aye.
How many miles? 103,000 miles on it.
Yeah. He bought it at 40-something.
And he said, and swears, that it has given him not one lick of trouble.
No.
Ever.
No. He didn't say, he said, I don't need to touch wood because I'm not superstitious. And he said, one caveat, I change the oil every 5,000 miles.
But that's how you stop those V6 diesels shitting themselves, isn't it? So
correct. Or it postpones the issue.
Yeah.
I know someone that's an engineer who likes those cars.
Yeah.
And he's replaced a number of bearings himself.
Oh.
He's bought a couple of broken ones with low mileage and rebuilt them.
But what it made me remember riding in that Disco 4 last night, even though I think we were all incredibly tired after the live show and everything, but I could still recognise what great cars they are. They just have a lovely feel to them, don't they? They just go well.
I can't remember who said it. It might have been you. But to me, the thing that makes the Disco 4 good is the fact that it's pleasant and it's well appointed and utilitarian, but still comfortable. It's not chasing luxury on anything like the level that Land Rover is now.
No, I guess not. I mean, they're still luxurious. They're still very nicely appointed. It doesn't feel khaki, does it? It doesn't feel like a sort of
no. It doesn't feel cack. No
Soviet troop carrier.
No. But
I know what you mean. They're not. It doesn't feel like it was designed by Kim Kardashian or something. I said jokingly to a ex-Land Rover dealer of my acquaintance that, because we were talking about what are they going to do about the Discovery, because clearly Discovery 5 sort of has got a bit usurped by the Defender. But
I asked you, I said, do they still sell the Disco 5?
Well, they do.
Because I
don't
didn't
know
even
how many they sell.
I'm going to just quickly look up how much they are, because I don't know. They're 150 years old, aren't they?
It was, gosh, when did it come out? It's 2016, 2017, something like that. It's quite old. That's the thing. It's coming up for replacement, and they are going to replace it, I gather.
Okay.
They've got some... Now, I'd heard a rumour that one of the things they might have considered is making it sort of more like an MPV with off-road capability, like a sort of... Because way back in the 80s or 90s, they sketched up a sort of off-road Renault Espace by Land Rover kind of thing. I think you can find them online, sketched up sort of one-box thing, and then they decided that Discovery should be more conventional. I'd heard that that was a consideration, but I'm sure, in the design studio, lots of things are considerations. And there was also, I'd heard on the grapevine, a plan to make the Discovery more sort of dynamic and a bit lower.
Oh, really?
Like a sort of Audi all-road RS6.
Okay.
But again, it was just a design studio sort of whim. There is apparently a Discovery coming. It's supposed to be quite radical, but I don't know in what way it's radical. This is all just
Can they just make it like a Mitsubishi Delica Space Gear?
Well, maybe that's
Chamonix edition.
Exactly. Maybe that's
what I want.
But I said a while ago to this guy who was a Land Rover dealer, I went, do you know what they should do if they want to sort the Discovery problem? Just bring back the Discovery 4. And he went, don't joke. If they did that, it's all we would sell.
Wow. But then just do it. Like, make it look the same as before. New drivetrains.
Well, that's it, yeah. And then
plug-in and non-plug-in options. And just go with it. Make the underneath galvanised, for fuck's sake, please.
No, they still haven't heard of galvanisation at Land Rover. So they'd have to... Well, I mean, one of the things that's appealing about the Discovery 4 is it's got really sort of chunky big buttons on the dash.
Yeah.
And to make it feel modern, they'd have bin
buttons.
all those and put a touchscreen in, and actually that would spoil it.
Again, but people want it for that reason. Here we go. Discovery on the Land Rover website is £63,775.
Oh, okay. I would have sort of guessed that ish, but
and
where
it
does
says
it go up to?
Well, I could start the configuration thing, so obviously you can go wild with that. But it says finance from £689 a month plus deposit. Ooh. That seems a lot of money to me. Deposit's £14,500.
What?
Yeah, you got to want one, haven't you?
I bet though that's the thing.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
Me. If I sound a bit bunged up today, it's because I'm a bit bunged up today.
I wonder if the finance rates on the Discovery 5, though, are much worse than on a Defender, because the depreciation on a Discovery is going to be much worse than on a Defender.
Well, the whole thing about the Defender is really they should have just called it the Discovery 6.
Yeah, but Defender's got a better... I think,
but everyone would look at it and go, it looks like a Defender, but who cares? Whatever, I don't care what it's called. It looks great. I'm buying it.
The thing is that this whole 3 pillars of Land Rover thing that they've tried to do with Range Rover, Defender, Discovery is very hard to get your head round.
Yeah.
The Range Rover Defender distinction and the Range Rover Discovery distinction sort of there, but the Defender and Discovery distinction, I just don't get it. I suppose say that the Defender is more sort of off-road biased and the Discovery is family biased, but the Defender is also a good family car and the Discovery is also a good off-road. So
yeah,
where's the division?
Well, this is the confusion.
It feels like it makes sense in Land Rover marketing meetings and then immediately ceases to make sense as soon as they leave the room. I don't get it.
I'm not sure anybody truly gets it.
But maybe.
But what do we know? They're still selling them.
But are they? The thing for Land Rover is that it doesn't. I suppose it matters relatively less that they don't sell any Discoveries as long as they sell every Defender they can make, because they're built in the same factory.
Yeah.
And as long as the factory is running at full chat, that's just the car factory dream, isn't it? But it's the same way when Ford were building Mondeos and S-Maxes and Galaxies on the same line, they were like, we don't really mind about what the split is between those 3 cars, just as long as people are buying.
Yeah.
And the S-Max was a big hit, and that was what kept that factory turning at sort of efficient levels. But I'm just wondering what you can get in a Discovery in the US, because they do? Ooh, hang on, what's it? Discovery?
It's funny, we've started to talk about Land Rovers, and I was actually going to talk about those very thin gilets that we've come across over, because that's a very Land Rover-y garment.
Oh, yeah. And they've actually, Discovery 4 is the quintessential gilet Land Rover, I think.
It is quite a gilet Land Rover.
That's why there's loads of Discovery 4s in Bath.
Right.
It's because the Discovery 4 is the apex of rugby dad car.
Yes. The collars are up.
You've seen, rugby dad's collar's up, the gilet is on, the socks are off with the boat shoes.
Oh,
those are being worn.
So chafy, I can't bear it.
Yes.
So chafy.
And the Discovery 4 just works with all of that in a way the 5 just doesn't quite. It's okay. And the Defender, I think quite a few rugby dads have gone Defender now.
Yeah.
But the true rugby dad would rather burn a pile of thin gilets and give up his Disco 4. He bloody loves that car. Bloody love it.
And they're willing to put serious coin into keeping it alive.
Guys, seriously.
Seriously.
What am I going to replace the bloody Disco with? Nothing.
I was just about to type in that restomod that I shared with you that I really want to talk about it.
Go on, you explain what it is.
So this is like a sort of a fantasy of mine, really. So it's a company who are Swedish typically I can't find it as quickly as I want to when I'm talking about it. But it's a rebodied Range Rover. Is it a 322? I think it's a
322.
It's a 322. So the one that you love and lots of people think is kind of the best.
Peak Range Rover, yeah.
Yeah. And we've talked about wheelbases because you and I are sad bastards. And we have wheelbases, and we know that the wheelbase of that Range Rover is either identical or very, very, very similar to the Tesla Model 3.
Yeah.
And as such, this company's done what we've fantasized about by putting the body of the Range onto the underpinnings, the whole chassis, including, I guess, parts of the dash with the infotainment and the...
They look like they've done some very neat things with the dashboard.
It's really good. Yes, it's lower.
That's the bit that bothers me, because if you know those Range Rovers, you know that air suspension problems are sometimes an issue. It looks to me like the air suspension has collapsed because it just sits permanently in super low, like even lower than access mode.
It's crouching tiger, hidden danger.
Yeah, it just looks wrong to me. That's going to have a horribly bobbly ride because all the air has left the springs. And I don't know why they didn't jack it up. I presume there's sort of technical problems that they just couldn't with the Tesla suspension or whatever. But there's the bit that spoils it. If they'd got it sitting at a realistic Range Rover height, then it would have been just sort of completed the deal. Also,
I found the company.
Have you got a picture there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that bothers me is the colour. I don't know why they've painted it that beige. It's quite a drab, unfinished sort of colour to
Angel
me.
Delight colour, instant whip.
I saw, by the way, a brand new Range Rover when I was in America that had been modified. Here, look at that. Now, that's not Angel Delight colour. That is, I would say, clotted cream.
Oh gosh, that looks horrible.
It's awful, isn't it?
It looks like it's been made from theme park fiberglass.
Yes,
doesn't it?
Or
skin-coloured fiberglass.
That's the thing. I thought it looks like a fake car because they've coloured in. I'll put this picture on the Patreon, but it looks like they've coloured in all the exterior plastic. Same milky beigey colour. It's terrible.
It's sort of old school prosthetic arm.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
it's not quite colour matched.
Medical. That's a medical colour, and I don't like it. I was so alarmed by that and how terrible it made that otherwise quite handsome car look.
So I found the company, and I really want to give them a round of applause. They're called Caresto, Caresto. They're based in Sweden, and they are caresto.se. So I'm not a trad Range Rover person, as you know. So as such, I don't mind the fact that it sits really low, because I in fact was at the airport a couple of days ago coming back from the Renault 4 launch, and there was a slammed new Range Rover on, I don't know, 180-inch rims, and it was as low as a sports car, and you were like, that's totally pointless.
But was it not just in access mode?
I think it was in like glistening bell mode, to be honest. And I just did that whole FFS.
Conversely, I saw a current shape Range Rover parked on a swanky square in London the other week, and they'd been parked and left in off-road mode. So the suspension was on tippy toes, and it looked sort of comical.
Like a cat that's
been startled. Yes, someone's frightened the Range Rover. Really? Yeah, I don't... Do you remember
Jump
those...
scare, as the kids call it.
Jump scare. Do you remember the... oh, God, I can't remember the model code, but the SL that replaced the 129, the one that then came with the 55 and...
Yeah.
With the round headlights that then made worse with terrible headlights.
That's right, yeah.
And those, I could never figure this out, but you used to see them when they were current, and you'd see them around well-to-do parts of major cities. And quite often they'd be in raised mode.
Yeah.
And they looked stupid, but it seemed like it was endemic. And I was like, is that a fault with the car? Or is the button too easy to nudge?
And they haven't worked it out.
And they haven't worked it out, because the owner is inevitably a silver fox of some description.
Yeah.
Or... aging former Celica lady done good kind of headscarfy sort of, but either way they've
an
nudged
absolute jet trail of Chanel as you go by.
Yeah, that's why
Seriously.
they have to have the roof down, because otherwise they would suffocate themselves.
They'd pass out of the
on
wheels.
Chanel.
But also, if someone was to strike a match nearby, you'd have almost a Back to the Future style flame strike that went up and caught the hood and everything of the SL.
But they used to. Well, that was the first one with the folding metal, wasn't it?
Oh, that was metal.
And that again. But there's even
So it
better
could burn the
sealing.
neck of the lady.
Very, very dangerous to have high concentrations of perfume inside. But yeah, they always used to. Do you see them just trundling around with raised suspension? Why?
I think it's a fault.
Do you think?
Yeah.
They were a bit. That was into the era of Mercedes.
Was it Chrysler-ish era? Was it, or just before that?
Maybe, but it was just generally self-imposed dropping the ball.
But I've got to say, this car resto body swap, as we'd call it, Range Rover, Tesla, has been done really well, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's the sort of thing which bloody Range Rover themselves should have done a long time ago. But I'm into it. I will share some pictures of it. I love it. I'd love to drive the bloody thing because I think their engineering looks bolted.
But it's in Sweden.
It's in Sweden for sure, yeah. But I love it. I think it's bloody wonderful.
What's the company called again?
It's called Caresto. Caresto.
Caresto.
Caresto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Like caressing, I think.
Yeah.
Caressing with a resto.
Caressed.
Caressing. Carrested development. Yeah.
We were talking...
They made a lovely... I think this is quite an old car now, but they made a really nice Volvo hot rod.
Oh.
Woody hot rod.
Oh, okay.
So these are talented people.
Yeah, I don't like the back of that, but I do like the front.
But
it's interesting. I like the way the diff's just sort of
hanging out.
I
would be so down with that.
Why is it Volvo? Oh, that's okay. The work.
The engineering is just
okay.
Absolutely sublime.
Is that why is it Volvo though? Has it got a Volvo engine?
I think it's got a Volvo engine. I hope. I'm looking now. I can't quite see. I think it's a straight six. But imagine if it was that V8 that we always talk about. The Yamaha.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I see your Yamaha V8 and I raise you 5-cylinder.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Would that sound weird in a
5-cylinder hot rod?
Hot rod.
I'd be down with that.
Wobbly.
I was just talking to a man this morning about Daimler Hemi hot rods. He's got a 32 Ford with a Daimler V8 in it.
Really?
That's the Hemi. Yeah.
What? Yeah. Like a 2.5?
He's got the 4.5, which got out of the Majestic Major.
Oh, bloody hell!
So they did a 4.5,
wow.
and he's put either quadruple SUs on it. I can't remember what, but he said it's so good.
Crikey!
And he said it goes 500 RPM idle, 7,500 limit.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, really? He went, yeah, they're amazing,
racy.
Yeah, and like completely forgotten about compared to American V8s. Because I'm like, that sounds brilliant.
That Daimler V8, people don't seem to be that fussed about it.
No, they don't.
They sort of all get a bit gooey about XK straight sixes.
Yeah, but actually, like you say, the original one, the 250, 2.5 litre, sweet little engine. I think it's all aluminium. But if it's not the heads, I'm sure the heads are aluminium. But I think you can pick one of those engines up for not a lot. And it's really whet my appetite this morning over our morning coffee, Richard. I'm thinking, what could I put that in? And why am I thinking about another pissing project?
Yes.
Don't need another one.
Yeah. I thought you turned over a new leaf and you were so sensible in poo-pooing my Previa plan that that was it. You were in a sort of I think I almost felt like I'd caught your disease because having only just bought a car, I had this real thirst to buy another car. It's like, oh shit.
It's bad. It's a chain reaction.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know when electric car batteries catch fire and you get that thermal runaway.
Yes.
I feel like I've got a bit of thermal runaway on car buying. I've got real kind of like, I should buy something else. What should I buy? I should buy something else. What should I buy? No.
Dude,
no, stop.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I don't tell you about the things that I hawk around. I don't tell you the full extent of my illness. But there are always cars.
As we speak, there is a Toyota Century for sale on a popular car auction site, and it is ending tonight. And I was urged to buy this by TV's James May, and as you pointed out,
TV's James May.
I should just hold the mirror up and redirect that laser back at him and somehow get him to buy it, and then
hold the mirror,
go and have a look at it. But that a Century, because also it's black with the wool seats, so it's the perfect spec, and it's a later V12, so it's got a 6-speed box, so it's pretty much exactly as I'd want it.
How much? I wonder what it will sell for. So this is on
as we speak. It's up for the current bid is 8825 with 8 hours left. So by the time you hear this, it'll be long gone. We'll know what it's gone for. But I imagine there will be a late flurry because Centuries have crept up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Rightly so. You used to be able to get a good one, seemingly good one, for 10 grand, 12.
Well, when we first started talking about Centuries, we saw ones sub 10 that weren't shit.
Yeah, they look perfectly good. And now I think you see people trying their arm for like 20 or something for a sort of seemingly average one. And I've just noticed this one for sale has got a missing wheel cap on the rear alloy. So in fact, forget it. I'm not having it.
Screw you. Send it back. Well, we let's talk about some more car auctioning.
I was going to say, speaking of auctions,
seamlessly,
this podcast is sponsored by our friends at Pistonheads, and as is our habit, every so often we like to pick a car each from their auctions and talk about it, and then you can go to pistonheads.com/Smith and Sniff. And in their forum, you can debate which of us has chosen.
You can fight it out
wisely. Now, I haven't actually picked anything yet. I'm going to do this on the fly, but if you've got something you've chosen,
well,
go ahead.
I'm doing that whole sort of thing I would possibly do in the downstairs toilet, where I'm scrolling and going, "Oh, that looks good," and then I go, "Oh, a Nissan GTR by Litchfield. Now that's not going to be crap. 58,000 miles. Ooh, oh, Jaguar Project 7. Oh, not shit. I like those a lot. MX-5 BBR. Again, not shit." I have a thing, and I talked about it on our live podcast last night. I just referenced a little memory of one. They have got a VW Corrado VR6. I've always liked Corrados.
Yes.
Do you know what? I don't even know if dynamically I can't remember driving one, if I'm totally honest. I have driven one, but I don't remember.
I've driven one very briefly, and it felt like you'd need to get to know it more, because I think, like Golf GTIs, they have strength and depth.
Yeah.
But they don't wow you immediately.
It's grower, not a shower.
Exactly.
Isn't it? It's one of those cars, I feel.
Yeah.
And this one here that's on the Pistonheads. So Pistonheads, sweet guys. And they do tend to pick some SSCs as well, some sweet cars, which is why we're hawking around them right now. So this is a 1994 car, 116,000 miles, and it's in the desirable dragon green paint.
Yes. It's a good colour.
The engine was rebuilt less than 10,000 miles ago. Now, at the time, I was talking to someone about this. At the time when VR6s came out, mid-90s, early 90s, we knew that they were really silky and talky and actually quite a docile engine, a really good cruiser. But fast forward to now, they have become one of the most tuned European engine blocks. People are getting stupid power out of them reliably.
Are they?
People are drag racing them with 1,000 horsepower.
What?
Yeah, seriously. And they're very compact.
Yeah.
So it's one of those engines that was like a bit of a slow start. Again, it's a bit of a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
And so, not that you do it to this particular car. So this one has got a stainless exhaust. It's got uprated LED headlights and uprated brakes. There are a shit ton, excuse my language, of photos. I mean, but that's a fact. You've got 52 exterior, 52 interior.
There's something that always bothered me about the Corrado is that I don't think Volkswagen ever really found a set of wheels that totally suited it.
Yes.
And I'm looking at this car in the ad. I'm first of all thinking the Corrado is now fully into it. It's a classically handsome car, isn't it? It's just so sort of neat.
It's a middle-aged person who's they've not messed around with themselves much. They've just kept themselves in shape.
Yeah. Exercise, healthy eating.
Yeah.
But so this has got these 5-spoke wheels. I don't know what they are. They're aftermarket.
I think they're off an Audi TT. I'm just scrolling down. I want to say they are TT rims.
But they're also not generally a fan of dark coloured wheels. Now, these aren't black wheels. That's what I don't like. They're sort of
anthracite.
they're dark grey. But
The
they
16s.
actually look pretty good on this car,
They look wonderful.
which is a surprise because there were some Corrados for a while came with some quite fussy cross spokes,
Yes.
and I just thought they looked awful.
Yeah. And wheels can really transform Corrados. I've seen them on split rims. I've seen them on really flat wheels, staggered wheels. I mean, obviously, I know I've got sad friends who have got 3 sets of wheels for one car, and they rotate the wheels depending on which summer. So, like crop rotation.
Yeah.
Because they say instead of buying another car, they just give the same car a totally different look. So when it's parked, you go, oh, it's kind of like
Oh, it's interesting.
it's had a wardrobe revamp.
Yeah, it's just like having different covers for your phone or something, isn't it? Or different straps for a watch. It jazzes it up for relatively low effort.
Yeah. And I like that about it.
I like your Corrado.
Yeah.
I've gone Simon Cowell again.
You have.
I like you. However, I am going for an auction that runs at the same time, which ends on a Wednesday, for a 1991 BMW 318 manual.
Oh.
It's an E30. It's a 4-door. It is not a shower. It is a very modest example of the E30 breed. However, when was the last time you saw a tidy stock E30?
Shit me, look at the mileage.
I know. Talking about classically handsome cars, there you are. And it has 25,000 miles on it. It's actually a South African car, which is good.
Really good.
Because it means it's not rotty. It also comes with aircon, which wasn't a given on those. Obviously, you're not interested in that one.
No, I'm not, no.
But yeah, so it's come from South Africa. So it's got 40,000 Ks on it, which is 25,000 miles or thereabouts.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
You know, I know we'd sort of always hanker after an M3 or a 325.
Yeah.
But I bet this is a really, really sweet little car with that really knuckly BMW manual change on it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, apart from anything else,
that's really nice.
Festival's the unexceptional, because I think the photo might go, a 325, oh, that's a bit racy. No,
wouldn't be permitted.
The 318, that's so modest.
Yeah,
and 4-door. And it's a 4-door, that's the thing. But I guarantee if you bought this, that you could make some extra money by loaning it out to fashionable new bands who want it for photo shoots and videos, because it's so retro in a cool way.
Yeah.
That where we look at that and go, oh God, I haven't seen one of those like that for ages. If you're 22, you go, look at that cool old car.
I was going to say, my nephew, who we're recording this on his birthday, 8th of May, E30 BMW is like his absolute poster car.
Really?
That and a rotary RX-7, you know. Like, so if he saw this, he wouldn't care that it was an 18 or a 4-door.
No,
he would be like, it's just a really well preserved car.
So,
I can't believe it's got its original cassette, factory radio cassette head unit.
Yeah.
And it's got the original toolkit that's complete. It's got leather.
It's got leather. It's also got the alloys, those very handsome alloys of the contemporary sort.
Yeah. Gosh, you know, that's good. So why don't you buy the E30? I buy the VR6, and we rent them out to bands.
Oh, of course, you can't buy this E30 even if you wanted to, because it's red.
No.
It goes against your principles.
It sort of does, I'm afraid.
But I wonder what this is going to go for in the end, because I think it looks mega. It's one of those ones where it's like, I feel like this might actually go for quite strong money, because it is, you know, it is a proper find another in that condition and mileage.
It is, I have to say. And you can obviously follow these auctions off of Pistonheads. Oh, and there's many other cars available on the auctions. You go to pistonheads.com/buy/auction.
Yeah, and if you want to debate our choices and whether Jonny is Corrado or me with my E30 have chosen more desirably, then pistonheads.com/Smith and Sniff.
Oh my gosh, I've just seen another thing, that blimmin' Datsun Sunny pickup truck.
Oh, that's gone now, hasn't it? But yeah, that's... Oh. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, oh gosh.
You know, we were talking yesterday in real life about where's Cosy man gone now?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to say it is usually a man. I wonder how many women bought Sierra Cosworths back in the day. But I bet it was
there were a few,
small,
I think, yeah.
But lots of gays. So... Cosy Man.
Cosy.
We were speculating that Cosy Man moved on to Impreza Turbo.
I think Impreza WRX was because it's similar size, firepower's obviously there from the 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
And of course it's got the 4-wheel drive, so if you had a SAF with 4WD, you could feel
I wouldn't go back to 2-wheel drive now.
No. And so Cosy guy, I think, did go into the classic Impreza, what we now call it the classic look Impreza, maybe the Bug-Eye. But where are they now? What are they tooling around in?
Well, I think we could, because you've got to figure this out. First of all, I think some Cosy guys didn't go Impreza turbo.
Yeah.
If they'd done good,
yeah,
they might have had a little foray into Lotus Carlton.
Oh shit!
If the timing was right, yeah, just things is going well. Go treat yourself.
But do you think it would have eaten him out of house and home?
Well, it just got nicked.
Oh yeah,
and then you can get another one, and it's like, okay, but then it's okay. Impreza turbo comes along.
Yeah,
but then where from there? What's the next move?
Where from there?
Where from there?
I think it's a new section we've just invented. Where from there?
This week, Volvo C40 owners. Yeah, I can't quite work this out. I could see, maybe they scattered a bit, because I could see a little bit of maybe Monaro ownership.
Yeah, you might have got a bit of that. You might have even started going for Japanese imports.
Yes, GTRs.
Yeah. So I think and this is when Skylines were cost effective.
Isn't that maybe the Impreza?
Was
Trad
the
Cosy guy might have gone, no, I'd never have a Japanese car. They've got no character.
Yeah.
Impreza won him over, and suddenly he's gone JDM crazy.
Yeah.
Won't have anything else.
No. The Subaru is the gateway drug.
It is, isn't it? It really is.
And then he's in, and then he's like, oh, what's all this? GTR?
Yeah. GTIR?
Yeah.
Get one of them for the wife, little hatchback.
That's right. So I think they could have done that. It would have been an R34, do you think? Yeah. And possibly now the R35. As we know, they're 116 years old.
Well, that's it. Maybe that's it. I think that's what's seen Cosy guy through the last 40 years, or whatever, how long they've been around for.
Yeah.
Is the just gone GTR.
Cosy guy is actually probably on Pistonheads right now, sniffing around that R35 Litchfield edition. Because
also the tuning possibilities.
Enormous.
Because a lot of Cosy guys like to tune that, didn't they? Because it was a car that you could chip.
It was a car you could chip, and there was lots of mentions of stages.
Always the stages.
Is stage 2.
That's the thing, there's no sort of international definition. The UN have never sat down and go, okay, come on, let's thrash out what is meant by stage 3. Because, of course, nothing is meant by stage 3. It's just a name. But somehow when someone goes, yeah, stage 3, everyone goes, okay.
Yeah, everyone just nods.
Yeah, and you go, what does that mean? Because it could mean you fitted a steering wheel cover.
Yeah.
And it's got some offcuts of
valve cat
of like sitting room carpet in the boot to protect the floor.
I know.
Yeah.
It's folklore.
Isn't it?
But you see, Cosys are steeped in British folklore, at least. And actually, the American journalist and presenter Jason Camisa recently did a video on Haggerty, which is a really great video. I like what Jason does. He's very, very good. And he did one where he compared the Sierra Cosworth, which Americans didn't get, with the Merkur XR4Ti, is that?
Yes.
Which was obviously a Sierra XR4i with a turbo
2.34.
That's right.
Yeah.
So slightly different to what we got.
Weird. I think the story with those was that they were so different to the XR4, they had to be built separately. They might have been built by Carman or someone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were so many changes to meet American regs, and then the engine was totally different.
Yeah.
That it didn't make sense to build them on the regular production line. Or maybe it was one of those ones where they were sort of part built and then sent to a facility to be finished off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So economically, it was a frigging nightmare. But they're quite...
I like them.
Did Camisa say in his video if they're sought after in the US now? Because they're certainly rare, aren't they?
They are rare, but I think they're misunderstood because they didn't have the pedigree that we had in Europe. Obviously, in Europe, the Sierra Cosworth was an almost unbeaten touring car and fairly handy in rally, but more touring car. And that is what started the folklore. Whereas in America, it didn't have that. And it wasn't the same car, of course. So I don't think it had that much cred. And up until quite recently, I saw when a few Smith & Sniff listeners would constantly prod me with messages saying, I've just found a Merkur XR4Ti in completely fine condition for like $5,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, bloody hell, I'd love that.
They bought one once for Top Gear USA when and Rutledge had it. I think Rutledge.
Did he?
I can't remember if did Rut buy it in the end, or I forget.
Oh, Rut's a serial buyer.
Yeah,
he would have totally bought that.
He and you are very.
We've never met. We've nearly met several times.
You've never met Rutledge?
I've never met Rutledge Wood.
Oh, you and Rutledge would get on well.
I know. I'd like to meet him.
I just found this. It was in one of my boring car trivia books. The Merkur XR4Ti had over 100 kilos of additional metalwork to meet federal safety standards, and a Brazilian-made 2.3-litre turbo 4.
Yeah.
It was so different that it couldn't be made economically on the Sierra production line, and XR4Tis were instead assembled by Carmen in Osnabrück.
You are absolutely right.
And then shipped to the US.
100 kilos?
Yeah.
Shitting hell.
I know. It's quite a lot, isn't it?
That is a lot back then when cars didn't weigh anything what they do now.
Yeah, so what would a regular XR...
1,200 kilos?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's quite chunky. But it's only, I mean, the same is true. The Alpha 4C in recent times, the US version was noticeably heavier because of extra stuff. Because, I mean, that car was a massive cock-up from start to finish. And one of the things was they went, oh, yeah, Alpha's going back to the US. So have you engineered the 4C to go on sale in the US? Not as such. Don't worry, we could do it. So, the US version was different to the... And I don't know whether that was because they went, we can meet Euro standards without...
Hi, I'm Euro standards.
Euro standards. But yeah, it was, the American ones, they just don't get that anymore, do you? Like, most American spec cars look the same as they're sold. They don't have stupid circular headlights or any of that stuff anymore.
It's all been globalized.
Or massive underbitey bumpers. But they occasionally still...
The lip disc Mercedes bumper.
Yeah. There are differences. For years... Mercedes, you remember that Mercs, I think they've entirely done away with, what's the name of the little thing on the door, the windowsill of the door that pops up your lock pin?
Yes.
And Mercs used to have a little...
It was a very subtle little...
Just popped up when the car was
little
unlocked.
Black one,
and sunk flush.
That's right.
But not in the US. If you look at a US Merc of that era, so basically 80s and 90s, they have a proper pin that's got a sort of stem and then a head on it.
Right.
Because US regulations state you have to be able to sort of get in through the window and be able to pull the lock up.
What, if you're a thief?
I think it's for safety reasons. If the car is in an accident, the emergency services can break the window and just unlock the door. Of course, cars now unlock themselves automatically when they detect an impact, so it's less of an issue. But I suppose if the rule is still the same, you've got to comply by the rule.
Oh my God.
I don't know how they get around it now, because I'm sure a lot of cars don't have lock pins. Most cars don't have lock pins.
No. I've had this thought, because we have quite a lot of American and Canadian listeners off of Smith & Sniff, which is wonderful. And even Australians and Zeds too. But I wonder whether or not there's a scope here for like a swap shop. They desire certain cars that we have that aren't worth much yet.
Yeah.
And we desire certain cars that they've got that aren't worth much yet.
Yeah.
And we sort of send them on the ship and we do a swapsy and go, well, this is about a $3,000 car right now. It's not a lot. Yours is about a $3,000 car. We'll meet in the middle with shipping costs and they'll cross on the water.
But you know what would happen? This would be basically like you or me going, could you send me a Crown Vic and I will send you a Golf diesel estate manual? Which I felt like car people in the US were slightly obsessed with diesel manual estates. And it was a bit like, guys, we have loads of those fucking things. You're not missing much.
No.
But they would say the same about Crown Vics when they go,
of
why would you want a shitty old cop car or taxi? And go, because they're cool.
No, they're not. We haven't talked about Crown Vics for about a year on this cast.
That's true, actually. We haven't, have we?
And that is a car that we should have bought.
Well, we could have had one for free.
Should have, could have. Yeah, I know, and we were complete dick splashes to coin a retro term. and
dick sprint.
Yes, and I think we really ought to. We should pull that trigger at some point.
I know.
And it should be as late a one as we can.
I was slightly put off because didn't that nice chap, Furious Driving, he bought one.
Yes.
And then it turned out to be an absolute nightmare.
Well, it was Rotti. I think his was Rotti.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm Captain Head Torch.
Yes.
So I'm quite happy to sniff round it. There is a couple in this country, but...
You're Captain Respray as well.
What, as in, like, I'm not scared to respray? Or...
No, as in, I've been with you and we're looking around a car and you've gone, it's had paint.
I'm really hawk-eyed
I
when it
can't
comes
see
to
that stuff.
Yeah.
Not like you can. I've been amazed. What was it we were looking at? Oh, it was when you were looking to buy your Volt.
Oh, yeah.
And we were looking at an Ampere and you just straight away just went, it's had paint.
Yeah.
I couldn't see a damn thing.
Yeah. I do that crouch thing.
Yeah.
I crouch on the 3/4 of the car and I look down the side of it and I look like I'm posing for a shit music video. That I'm actually
you
just...
put on a headband.
Yeah, and I look like I'm doing that. I've said it before, that sort of gaze that David Beckham's really accomplished at.
Yeah.
Slightly frowny, so wrinkled forehead.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking. I'm really focusing here.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going, panel gaps, talk to me.
Yeah.
Let's look at... Because I'm a bit colourblind, as I've said many times before, so getting the colour differentiation's hard for me, but the surface of the finish is where I'm at. I look at the surface of the finish. Sometimes run my fingers over it if it's not too pervy.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And I just know.
I will crouch down looking down a car, but I mainly do it because I know that's what you're meant to do. I mean, I can spot, I can spot ripply panels and shizzle like that, but your eye for paint finish is extraordinary. You've got to be careful with that David Beckham slightly furrowed brow look. It can look like you're just trying to remember whether you've left the gas on at home or not. Or you're trying to let out a fart without anyone noticing.
I was just about to say, you're trying to damage limitate a potential shart.
Yeah.
Can't you? Which nobody wants that. You've got a bit of a gut bubble. Yeah. And you're like...
Well, that's like letting out the clutch, isn't it? In an unfamiliar car, you're still trying to find the bite point.
Yes. And you're at a car meet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's still very early days with the relationship of the car.
Yeah.
And it's been cold started. So it could be a bit of a bastard.
I had to reverse my car into that glass box yesterday here at the Morgan factory. And it's actually not that wide between the doors and they're glass, so they're not immediately visible. And there were loads of people standing around. And I was just like, this is not a time to fuck up my clutch control because slightly tight spot, even in a small car.
I love your beat.
It's good, isn't it?
And I think it's a great juxtaposition between our majestic company vehicle.
Yes.
The Eagle Quest.
What did we just walk past this morning? What was that road called? Quest Hill Road or something?
Quest Hill Road, which I'm totally going to park outside and put the hazards on and take a photo.
Yeah, you have to. We were just having breakfast here at the Morgan, what's it called? The Morgan Experience Centre?
Yeah. And we experienced breakfast.
Lovely space. The place where we did our live show last night was a wonderful room, and then it's been reconfigured back to how it normally is as a cafe and a sort of chill out area for people to come on the factory tours.
Yeah.
And we noticed there are lots of people arriving for tours today, groups, but also lots of couples.
Yeah.
And your theory is that perhaps owning a Morgan is the secret to a long and happy marriage.
I have decided this has to be a fact. I've decided that I've been to Morgan a number of times in the last decade or so. There's often couples who seem to be enjoying not just the experience of this place, but the actual vehicle, the products that Morgan sells, enjoying it together. And it's that whole thing of like couples that stay together, play together. Or
it's the other way around, isn't it?
Oh, so the couples that play together stay together. And
slay together.
Yeah.
Spray together.
Slay together. They spray together.
I've really said slay together. I don't know. I'm just imagining people furiously shredding on an electric guitar. Hey, man, you're slaying it.
But one's got the arms around the other one, like the pottery.
So they can do some incredible
the pottery scene in
They've got 4 hands on the job.
And maybe because Morgan cabins are quite bijou, they steer for one another because that's the sign of love.
Couples that steer together are near together. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, near together, steer together. So it's that whole thing of like, I'm really sorry, I'm going to do a massive sneeze. Don't worry, I'll take the wheel.
Yeah,
and there's that interaction. I honestly think, I think Morgan has cracked this code. Couples of a certain age that continue to be in love with one another after decades and decades and decades and still possibly even sleep in the same bed and touch one another. I think they might own and drive Morgans.
I was telling you last night about that place we stayed in the US where there was a guest book that it was loads of clearly couples of a certain age alluding to the fact they'd had lots of shagging while they were there.
Yeah.
It was really disturbing. It got to the point where my wife was like, I don't want to sit down anywhere in this place because you know what's been done on it by other people. But is it because, well, there's two things I have a thought about here. First of all,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you'll go to like a country hotel, something like that, and you'll see a couple sitting there in total silence for an entire meal.
Oh.
I always go, I hope I never get to that point. It feels awkward. Unless they're totally comfortable with it, but they just never look comfortable with it.
No.
They look like they're hoping to think of something to say, but there's nothing left. No, forget it.
The faces aren't happy.
No, that's the thing. They're not.
No.
And although I did... I was once... This is a bizarre story. I was once in the sort of little private dining room off the main dining room in a country hotel, quite a posh country hotel.
Yeah.
On a project with a really big star. I can't say who because it is complicated, but
Okay.
but like a globally famous person
Yeah.
was there at our table, and that's why we were in the private room, so we'd have some privacy.
Yeah.
But the double doors to the private room had some kind of flaw with them and kept just spontaneously opening. And from where I was sitting around the table in the private room, I could see there was one of those couples that sits in silence.
Yeah.
But the second time, the doors just popped open and so slowly just opened to give view into this room. You saw the woman looked up, saw the very recognisable famous person, and her face changed, but then she didn't say anything. So, like, I guess she didn't want to go, oh my God, look, there's... So she just...
Did you sort of perk up a bit like
Yes.
when you turn on a bouncy castle?
Yes, like
And it does a very, very, fast erection, kind of like, here I am.
Yes.
This is what I look like
It was
when
a
I
bit
stand
like,
up
she
straight.
did. She sort of straightened up.
Yeah.
But she didn't say, I didn't notice her saying anything. And then one of the staff came and hurriedly closed the doors. But then they did it again. And you could see her then looking again, but she still didn't seem to be saying anything.
Was
The
she
guy didn't
closer
turn
each
around.
time by about 2 meters? Like a hunting cat.
It's really weird. But what I was thinking is that if you go away for a weekend somewhere in your Morgan as a couple,
Yeah.
it's quite breezy and loud. You can't talk in the car, but that's okay because then you can save up all the conversation for the evening.
Bloody hell.
It's helping with the relationship.
Yeah, because you're just admiring the scenes.
Exactly. Yes. And I suppose as well, because you have a car like that, everywhere you go, it feels a bit like an adventure.
Yeah, it does.
So you're in it together,
It's romanticising the journey.
but you're always going on a jaunt
Yes.
or an excursion
Yes.
or an adventure. You're never just going,
It's not a trip out.
yeah, let's drive to Warwick. Let's go,
No.
should we go on an excursion to Warwick? Yes.
Yes, let's.
Let's. And off you go. And that is, I think you're onto something here.
Well, the romance of the journey is a thing that's probably it's kind of trickled away out of modern day life, and I do understand that because of various constraints and thing. But I think a lot of people listening to this podcast, and you and I, we either aspire to own cars or we have some cars which are seldom used cars, and when you do use them, the whole point of it is that it's a bit of escape and a bit of excitement. Morgan have not only tapped into that a long time ago, but they've properly ramped it up. I think.
I
believe, yeah.
This is what did you say? Not single use car, but sort of specific use car is a
Yes.
But I realise I have two
niche,
the Honda and the Defender. If I suddenly needed to drive to Aberdeen, neither is ideal for the job. They could do it.
Yeah.
They're not ideal for the job.
No.
But if I was going to Aberdeen, the chances are I may be there for a few days.
Yeah.
That would inconvenience the other members of my household who would need a car to get around in. And my wife can't drive the Defender, and the Beat would be useless for the children going in tow. So I couldn't take the Tesla. So I'd have to take one of the... What I'm saying is I feel like I need another car to fill a gap here.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it would be.
Well, this is when you need a body-swapped Tesla Model 3.
Okay, yeah.
So you can use this, you can drive it long distance, you've got the supercharging network, blah, 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 but it's a Range Rover looking thing.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to wear an exceptionally thin gilet, you could.
Yes. Okay, you could, because...
Super le gilet.
But then people go, wait a minute, is that a Tesla gilet with a Land Rover badge put on it? Might be.
What's it to you?
Yeah, what's it to you? It's super thin.
Yeah.
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 Look at my socks. Ha, haven't got any on. Fooled you.
But if you were a bit cheeky, like, I don't know, a Tesla person might be, you could have socks tattooed on.
Naughty.
Yeah.
Cheeky's a funny word, isn't it?
Cheeky.
I found myself, sometimes you develop your own verbal tics, then you have to stop yourself again.
Absolutely.
And I realised I was saying cheeky a little bit too much.
Yes.
So a cheeky pint. Can I have a cheeky, do you want to go and get a cheeky sandwich before this meeting? So there's no need for the word cheeky there. It's not, sandwiches aren't cheeky. Pints aren't cheeky. Nothing's cheeky.
I had a year of naughty.
Oh.
Everything was naughty.
Like, as in, do you want to just go and get a naughty coffee before we...
Yeah, should we have a naughty takeaway tonight?
Yeah, but there's what's naughty? Unless it's got, I don't know, heroin in it, then it's not naughty, is it? It's just a takeaway.
But then everybody says super in front of everything now.
Yeah, I'm guilty of doing that.
And I've heard that Aston Martin are so pissed off about it, they're just going to call it Leggera.
Yeah, fine, we're downgrading
It's not a super Leggera.
It's going to be the Morgan Sport then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the Morgan Sport.
No, we had enough of
Yeah,
this.
Morgan are pissed right off with the overuse of super.
They double down and call it a super sport.
Oh, super duper sport.
Now, this has just reminded me of
spouts.
2 letters we had. One of them is a verbal.
Is it F and C? Those are the 2 letters of the day.
No, this is a message from a listener called Rick, who says, I have a submission to the verbal tics desk for your consideration.
Oh, no.
I grew up in northeast Scotland in a little town called Brechin, where he says, note the CH is as per lock, not chin. So, yeah, it's Brechin, not Brechin.
Okay.
It's a town of pronunciation pedants, so tread carefully. In Brechin, there was a little bakery called Davidson's that sold amazing pies. Sadly, they're gone, one of the many victims of small-town high streets to being turned into deserted wastelands of charity shops. The accent in that part of Scotland can be quite amusing. Apparently, you did a barn find of an Audi Quattro in Montrose.
Oh, yes, I did.
That's the same. It was only 10 minutes from Brechin.
Montrose is beautiful.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. Found a marathon rapper, formerly...
Did you?
Underneath the barn find Audi. We were only talking about it the other day.
So Rick says, in Brechin, when someone says thanks, the T will often get dropped. So you hear it as Hanks.
Hanks?
Yeah.
Hanks.
This came to mind when Jonny told the Cheers Mate Thanks Mate Bye story ages ago. Back in the day, when I went to Davidson's for my 2 steak pies, the lady who worked there would take my order. When I handed her the money, she'd receive it and say, Fine tar Hanks.
Fine tar Hanks.
Fine tar Hanks, then hand over the change. With another cheery, Fine tar Hanks.
That's brilliant.
Remember, this was back in the day. Retail workers would count your change back into your hand. There was a lot of customer interaction. It's a good point, actually. Don't do that anymore.
No.
So Rick's broken this down in the local translation guide. So Fine tar Hanks translates as follows. Fine equals, as you would expect, good or okay.
Yeah.
Tar means thanks. And Hanks means thanks. So she was saying, okay, thanks. She would say this multiple times to every customer, delivered rapid fire style.
This is brilliant.
So when the shop was busy, which was often because these were amazing pies, there was an awful lot of Fine tar Hanks going on.
Oh my gosh. We had 2 guys come last night to the live show and said that they work with someone who's not long started in their company, who is a on that side of things non-stop user.
Oh,
and they host a lot of the big meetings, and they just can't. They're just glaring at one another the whole time, going, "They've said it again. They've said it again." They said, "Thanks for just basically ruining our business." Because instead of listening to the content of the meeting, all we're doing is tallying up the on that side of things quantities. Quantities on that side of things.
A quantity of Otsop.
Yeah.
I think I promised in the last podcast to read out a message from a listener with a really bizarre story. This listener identifies themselves only as Ted.
Okay.
So he says, picture the scene, 4 mates in the local pub after a day working on site, early 20s. They're in their early 20s. It's around 2005.
Yes.
We're in Wimbledon, if you know it.
Right.
We ran our own decorating firm. Simple things. So proud of it, we painted the name on the side of my red Y-Reg Polo.
Okay.
After some grub, we got playing a few rounds of pool with a group of friendly-looking tradespeople. It was all fun at the fair, A few hours later, it was time to head home, so we left, got in the car, 5 up, and headed next door to the petrol station to fill up. I was heading inside to pay when one of the friendly tradespeople appeared. He highlighted that one of my brake lights was out. "Thank you for letting me know," I replied. "You could kill someone," he responded. Slightly confused, I continued inside to pay for the fuel. In that 1 minute, a group of the pool players, plus what looked like every other drunk tradesperson that was in the pub, had surrounded my car.
What?
I pushed my way through the crowd, got in, started the car, and headed slowly towards the exit. By this time, a couple of the less savoury types were kicking the doors in.
What?
As I pulled out onto the road, one of the chaps jumped up the back of the car and got onto the roof. He then hung onto the front of the 2 roof rails while at the same time gymnastically rotating his body so that his feet were on the windscreen.
What?
Imagine the pose of riding a Harley, but in the opposite direction of travel. So weird. He then started kicking and punching the windscreen so hard and so repeatedly that not only was there a fair amount of blood coming out of his hand, but he managed to smash a hole through the screen and rip part of it out.
What?
This is some mad Terminator shit. A couple of punches into my face later, I lowered my upper body just enough to be out of reach, while still being able to see ahead.
Oh my gosh.
He then started kicking and laying into my passenger with gusto. We were in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, but in the middle of 3 lanes of traffic. There was a red light ahead, so I stopped. We all got out of the car thinking he'd leave us alone, but then he started laying into one of my mates. At this point, a van caught my eye driving up at speed across the virgin pavement. I thought one or more of us had a significant chance of a life-shortening interaction. So we all got back in the Polo, and I took this decision to drive through the red light across 2 lanes of traffic, off a slip road, and then turn the lights off and hide in some residential area. 10 minutes later, we drove back to my mate's parents' house where we were staying at the time, cleaned up some minor injuries, and headed off to retire for the evening. While nodding off, I wondered what this must have looked like to passing cars. So my question is, what's the most bizarre thing you've ever witnessed while driving?
Oh my gosh.
Nothing like that,
I
Ted.
can't believe that
That's
level.
mental.
That level of, like you say, Terminator-esque aggression.
Why reg Polo? That would have still had a laminated screen, wouldn't it? Or did they not on the base model, maybe?
I want to say they would have.
On a VW.
That person would have properly injured their hands.
That's just nuts.
Yeah.
Also, what's the problem? I don't understand what triggered all this.
No. Did they think that person was somebody else?
Maybe.
Or they'd done something worse?
Or they were just trying to run them out of town because they recognised them as the decorating firm. Maybe it was a mafia-style building trade thing. That's so weird.
That is really mad.
But I saw something not quite at that level, but it's still stuck in my mind as quite a bizarre thing, which was on a road in London, sort of heading towards central town, near Baker Street. Traffic was quite backed up, and there was a merge point where 2 lanes became one. And, you know, people would sometimes behave like flutes when really you should just sort of zip a merge if you can.
Yeah.
And this had come to a head where clearly a small tipper, fanny type thing, transit, and had somehow upset another motorist. And this other motorist was out of their car and they were going absolutely batshit, banging on the windows of this transit with their fists and screaming. But what made this extraordinary for me was that the car that this angry person got out of was a Saab.
Not an aggressive car.
Exactly. And the guy...
Pacification car.
Yeah. But the guy was wearing a collar and tie with a V-neck jumper. Classically smart, but not too smart.
No.
He looked like a Saab driver because he looked a bit like a sort of college professor or something.
Yeah.
But he was going batshit crazy. On a van, you go, well, look, you know, these blokes have got tools and things. They could F you up.
Yeah.
So probably just back down. But
V-neck's a terrible thing to get into a fight with.
Exactly.
You know where it's going to end up.
It's incongruous.
The V will be down by your navel before you know it.
They'll pull someone in the course of the fight. Fights are never as clean as they are in movies, except that Bridget Jones fight, which was realistically a messy shit fight.
Yeah.
And But someone will yank on the V and pull it down, and you'll end up looking like Michael Douglas in Basic Instinct.
You will.
And that's no good at all.
Or an early Cadillac badge.
Yes.
I don't know.
Or a certain kinds of Alfa Romeo grill.
Oh, yeah.
That's a deep V now. What's going on? Why is that so deep?
Very deep.
I don't know. But yeah, I promised I'd read that out just because I found it absolutely bizarre. A man got on the roof, rotated around using the roof rails of a Bread Van Polo as, like, gym bars.
It is like a gym. What's that gym piece of equipment? Not
the parallel bars.
Yeah. Like I just can't believe it.
Weird.
I'm really taken aback by that.
Well, I mean, if you've got a weirder story, hello@smithandsniff.com is the address. That's all I've got. We should probably wrap this up. We're both quite tired, aren't we?
I've got half of my head is completely bunged up with cold, and I don't know what.
Half?
Yeah, it's like my HVAC screwed. Yeah, and I think I've got quite sore eyes. So, you can thank us later that we don't record this visually. All right, because Richard looking pretty good.
I haven't had a shower though.
Oh, haven't you?
So I'm clammy.
Oh, you did the shower avoidance.
Well, because I'm thinking I might do some exercise later. Also, I'm driving home with the roof off. I'm going to get roads to face crispiness.
Oh,
so I might as well get home, shower and moisturise.
On a hot day, it'll be like when you open the oven in the kitchen and you get that blast.
Yeah.
You'll have that all the way home.
Do you think?
Actually. Well, maybe not today, but in summer you will.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, well, that's as good a time as any to wrap things up. I haven't thought of any three things because I forgot we were doing this. But anyway, watch The Late Break Show. Go and buy one of my books. Come and see us if tickets are still available, which I'm not sure they're not because we're recording this in the past, for our London live show. At the London Concourse on the 4th of June. Tickets for that get you into the concourse itself as well. But they may have sold out because they were getting...
I have to say that's a stunning event, irrespective of what we do there.
Yes.
It's a stunning event.
And we will do this all again next week. Until then, goodbye.
Bye, guys, on that side of things.
So you've enjoyed this podcast, but you've had a thought. Is there a way here today that you could show support? Well, you could join our Patreon, what wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise, we've mugs and hats but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told to ask for this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Why is only half your head bunged up?
This side's just totally
You're like an advert.
I know.